Today we'll learn 5 different ways to generate random numbers in Excel. Using these random number generators, you can actually create your own data sets. So let's dive in. Okay, I have already opened the Excel practice file called random. I have a link in the description so you can download the same file and follow along with me. Alright, the first way to generate random numbers is using a formula called RAND or RAND. And all we need to do is to have open parentheses and close parentheses. Now, the catch here is that the number of this generates is going to be a random number, random decimal between 0 and 1. Watch what happens here. And Excel is smart enough to know that we would want to do this for the entire table that we established here. I want to show you something else. These numbers, these random numbers that were just generated, they're still sort of alive. And by that I mean, if I was to click return on this particular page, on this particular cell, watch what happens. All the numbers are regenerated. So I can do this over and over again. And that may be something that you like, or it might be something that you don't like at all. So the other thing that you can do, suppose I click return one more time and you say, you know what, these are the random numbers that I want. What you can do is you can highlight these numbers, you can right click and hit copy, and I can go either here or I can hit my Control C, but I hit copy. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on the same cell right here, and I'm going to hit Paste Special and Values. And there you go. These numbers are now actual numbers. You might say, well, who wants a random number that's a big giant decimal? I want whole numbers. I want integers. So let's go ahead and do that here in this worksheet called RANDBETWEEN. Let's generate random numbers for the invoice numbers and also for the sale amount. So in this case here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in a different formula. I'm going to use the RANDBETWEEN. So you can see right here, I click on that and what could be our invoice numbers? Let's go ahead and do something between 1001 and then we'll go all the way as high as 3500. Let's see what happens here. Alright, it generated a random number. Now again, this number is still alive. Now the other thing I want to do is I want to generate random numbers for this entire row. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and drag this down using the little handle, and there are my invoice numbers. Once again, still alive. So what I can do is I can copy this. I can then go here. Once again, I can do a Paste Special, Values, and then these are now locked in as those values. If I want to go over here, I can say, well, let's go ahead and do a sale amount. So I'm going to do, again, RANDBETWEEN, and in this case, I'm going to do values between 0 and 1500. I'll close that up, and once again, if I want, I can double-click here. Still alive. So what I want to do is, again, copy this, Paste Specials, Values. And since this is a sale amount, I can go up here, click on the $sign, and now this has turned these numbers into sale amounts in dollars. Now, notice here in the first worksheet, we had random numbers that were big, giant, long decimals. But here, all my random numbers were whole numbers. How about if I want something that is both a whole number and a random number together? Let's go ahead and do that. Click on the third worksheet. Let's actually go back to the second sheet and copy our invoice numbers from here. It's already done. And do that here. And the sale amount, I'm going to do equals. Now, I want a decimal, so I'm going to hit RAND, and that's going to give me the decimal portion of my random number. But I'm going to also add the RANDBETWEEN. So there I go. And let's go ahead again. We can do any number we want. I want my sales to be anywhere between $100 and $5,000. Again, that first cell is still live. So when I decide to copy this down, you can see that it changed everything. Now again, I can do a copy, paste special, values, and you still may say to yourself, even if I turn this into dollar amounts, I know that there's these big, giant, long decimals attached to each one, and I don't really like that. So what we can do is we can round this. So I'm going to go round, and I'm just going to have standard roundings. Sometimes you can always round down, round up. I'm just going to do a standard rounding. I want to round this number right here, and I want to have 2 digits after the decimal. And what you'll notice, first, copy this down. I'm going to now copy this. I'm going to paste the values where I want them to be. And you'll notice the long decimal is now gone. And these actually look like real sale amounts that I would probably trust. Alright, let's go to something a little bit different. Click on the RAND normal worksheet. In the world of statistics, we often talk about something called a normal distribution. You might say to yourself, I don't exactly know what a normal distribution is. Don't worry about that. We will get there. But for now, every once in a while, you may want to generate random numbers that follow more of a normal distribution. So what we can do here is, notice, we can go to the data menu. And we can find a data analysis tool. Now, notice it's not up here right now. To add this feature, you have to click first on the File tab and then Options. From Add-ins, go to Excel Add-ins. There you go. Check the Analysis ToolPak box and press OK. And here's the button you want, okay? Now, when I click on this, I can scroll through and there's a random number generation. And this can allow me to do both integers and decimals and all sorts of things that we've already done. But it also allows me to, let's say, how many variables do I want here? It's going to be one variable. That's going to be our exam scores. And the number of random scores I want is 100. And instead of them being discrete, I wanted to follow a normal distribution. I'm just going to click on normal here, and you can see that there's a number of other options as well. But for now, we're going to do a normal distribution. I want the average of those random generated numbers, exam scores here. I want the average of those scores to be, let's say, 75%. And the standard deviation of those, let's say it's going to be about 15. And the output range, where do I want these numbers to go? I want them to be right here in B4. So it locks it in at B4. I think I'm all ready to go. And there you go. It generated random test scores, a little bit more than I had listed right there, but you can see. All right. Click on the last sheet. Let's say you wanted to generate a lot of random numbers all at one time. We also have a formula called RANDARRAY. And there it is. I'll click on this. And what this allows us to do is it asks us, how many rows and columns of random numbers do you want? So I'm going to say, well, we want 50 rows of random numbers. And how many columns? Well, we want to go from this column here all the way to there, so we want 7 columns of random numbers. The smallest, my min number, is going to be 25, and the largest number is going to be 100. Now, notice at the end it's asking me, do I want this to be an integer? So do I want it to be a whole number, 25, 26, 27, or do I want to have integers in there? Do I want this to be 35.734? Well, let's say I just want this to be integers, in which case I would type in true. And you can notice here it's actually telling me what I can type in. So I go ahead and I type in true. And there you go. Now if I wanted to, let's go back here. I can do the same thing again, rand array. I'm going to do this for 100 rows. For those 7 columns, smallest number is going to be 0, highest number is going to be 1000. In this case, I do want decimals, so I click on false. So close the parentheses, and there you go. All right. So we found lots of different ways to generate random numbers in Excel. If you want to master Excel with more than 100 Excel hacks and tips like this, then you might be interested in my Excel courses. From Excel hacks to Power Query to DAX to Power BI and dashboards, I cover all the Excel fields. Thank you for watching all the way to the end, and I'm going to catch you in the next video.